Next, from the University of Minnesota, Yuko Taniguchi.
On March 11, 2011, a monstrous tsunami hit Tohoku, northeastern coast of Japan. Over 15,000 people died. 2,000 people are still missing. And I was devastated listening to this news here in the United States. I want to help people in Tohoku, but what can I do? I'm a teacher, I'm a poet, I don't know, but I traveled to Tohoku anyway to listen to the stories of Tohoku residents. And there, I was expecting to hear that it was so difficult to lose everything. That's the worst thing. But that's not what the resident told me. They actually told me that the worst part was actually sitting in the evacuation center. These are strong people from farming and fishing communities. They're used to working all day, and now their meals are prepared. They're sitting in the evacuation center and having nothing to do. We survived tsunami, but can we survive this long wait of nothing to do? So let's do something. A group of volunteers gathered these needles and thread and old fabric. So people began to stitch. And this was fun for them, and now they're forming groups. And soon, a group of women were talking about designs, and they were studying this traditional Tohoku pattern called sashiko. Our ancestors used to do this, and they were stitching to make the fabric stronger. So they were being incredibly creative. Now, that is not what I expected when I went to Tohoku. Some of the women said, I used to have nightmares and anxiety. I couldn't fall asleep, but I stitched so I can fall asleep. And I'm thinking, oh, I know this. This is the scientific information I learned somewhere that they were supposed to be struggling with this fearful reactions, but actually they were stitching and being engaged in a really meaningful activity. They were demonstrating active coping reaction. So I explained this to Tohoku people. They weren't really impressed by my scientific explanation. In fact, they just told me that we just have always known how to take care of ourselves. We just went back to a tradition. So here I am, going back to the United States. This story is incredible. I want to share this story with my community here in Rochester, Minnesota. Although we didn't experience tsunami, we all have faced our personal tsunami waves in our lives. And I think this story is meaningful. So working with Mayo Clinic Humanities in Center of Humanities in Medicine, University of Minnesota Rochester, and Rochester Arts Center, we hosted this exhibition called Surviving Tsunami Waves, the expression of resilience through arts and narrative. We displayed some of the beautiful work created by Tohoku residents, but that was not the point. The point was to invite our community members to actually participate in artistic activities that Tohoku people were doing. And this is what I heard from Rochester people. This is soothing. This is so nice. Why don't we do this more often? And I think the reality is we are so busy. Our lives are filled with obligations. So we don't create a space to do something like this. So here's what we learned. Community engagement is like a physical activity, exercise. If we want a muscle to have an ability to reach out to others and connect, because we are all going to face our own tsunami waves, then we have to practice it. It has to be a part of our daily lives. So that's what we learned. So I went to Tohoku to help them, but they clearly taught me. So my writing changed, and I like to share my poem that captures what I learned from Tohoku people. After the tsunami, the women in Tohoku who used to climb up the rocks to collect seaweed had nothing to do but sit and wait at the shelter. All these years, they had wished for a day with nothing to do, but such a day was too vast. The wind of worries circulated freely. So they learned to hang onto a needle the way they hung onto the rocks. They watched the needle diving into the fabric until they became the needle. They attached a colorful thread to their feet and swam through the ocean of fibers. Soon, a shape floated to the surface, fully alive. Thank you.